The whole point is to maximize your luck is kind of what I call it.
Hello everybody, Richard from TrueShot here, and thank you for tuning in to the 6th edition of the TrueShot guest spot. If you're watching the video version of this, you'll see that it's just me doing a quick recording here. Reason being is Adam and I, we were at his house this past Monday, and we recorded the intro to this podcast, but then when he sent me over the file through Google Drive, I had no audio. So that's a problem, you know? So I said, you know what, man, I'll just do a quick little intro here. So yeah, this episode is with Nik Nocturnal. He's a YouTube sensation, if you will. Guitar player extraordinaire, does covers, known for doing them extremely quickly, like, you know, a band will release a song and then boom, it's the cover's out. But he's also the guitar player for a new side project called Termina with Andy Cizek. And in this episode, we talk about his YouTube and we talk about Termina, but we also talk about, you know, marketing strategies. We talk about how, you know, where his revenue streams come from, being a full-time content creator, what to expect if you're going to try to pursue being a content creator, and just different things and different tropes and different topics in terms of anything that surrounds content creation. So this episode is chock full of information. Nik was awesome to talk to, and at the time that you're hearing this, we will be doing a reaction to their new song, Termina's new song, The Abyss. So make sure you check that out. But enough chit-chat, let's get to the episode. This is Nik Nocturnal of YouTube and Termina. Thank you. Enjoy. Nik Nocturnal, what's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
I'm
Excellent.
doing good. I won't pretend like we just talked for 1 hour before we started.
24 minutes. I have 24 minutes of outtake, and well, depending on what's been recording audio-wise, but
that's true.
It's probably just a bunch of a video of us doing nothing, but can't hear anything other than see us.
Right. But yeah, Nik, it's good to talk to you, man. So the first hard-hitting question that I wanted to just get out of the gate is, how the hell did you know who we are? That's what I really want to know.
That's what both of us...
I don't know. Like, dude, I mean, like, of course, I'm a YouTuber, but I'm also a fan of YouTube, and I always am kind of checking up. What are the new people doing? What are the new channels?
What are young bucks doing out there?
What are them young kids doing nowadays? You know what I mean? So I stay cool and jiffy with them, right? Like,
now he sounds like me.
Yeah. So yeah, and I saw you guys and you're doing stuff like reactions and you have your band. I was like, okay, I'll fucking check them out, because there's not a lot of bands that also do reactions. So I was like, okay, finally something a little bit different, like than just like my dad reacts or whatever the fuck, you know, like
right.
Being like everything's the same stuff. So yeah, I checked you guys out. I was like, oh fuck, this is good shit. And I was like, I enjoyed you guys' videos, and I enjoyed they actually had like a perspective instead of kind of just the usual, I don't know, like people that don't really know what they're just listening to it, which I get why people watch that stuff. You know, they want to watch it with somebody and then they just like, yeah, song. And then that was the video, you know, like, and you guys actually, again, have that background of that musicianship. So I like that input and that perspective much more. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that's exactly. So first of all, guys, for those of you, I'm sure that everybody watching this is watching this because they know who you are. But in case they don't know, Nik is been doing YouTube for about 5 years now. From yeah.
So been a while.
I did a little bit of initial research. So I just went on YouTube and I looked up Nik Nocturnal interviews and I just listened to everything that I could find from when you hit us up yesterday. So I
must be nice to have all that time.
Well, you know, I just go for long drives. But so I know you've been doing YouTube for a long time. I know that you do a lot of solo stuff. I know that you have a project with Andy Cizek called Termina. So you're kind of all over the place. So, but yeah, man, the thing with YouTube, it's so funny because like you were saying about like my dad reacts or something like that. We actually talked with Metal Burb on the last video. My favorite all-time clickbait reaction headline was, "My grandma died yesterday."
What the fuck? No, it shouldn't ever be anything.
Yeah, that was, dude. I'm like, and like they, because when they brought it up, I was like, oh my god, like I remember that one. I won't say who did it, but I thought that was hilarious. And nobody like caught on to it, but
Oh, fuck, man.
but that's awesome that you noticed that though, man, because like when we started doing the reactions, I actually said to Adam, I was like, you know what, man, like there's a lot of people doing reactions. Like for instance, I said there's like the couples react, which is like Metal Burb.
Yeah, I love those dudes.
Yeah,
they live right around here.
Yeah, fellow Canadians.
We talked about you guys a little bit, your friendship on the last podcast, but yeah, so you have like that, and then you have like the metal musician, which is you. You have like metal vocal, like But I'm like, I've never seen like
there's jazz drummer. I don't know. Have you watched the jazz drummer guy?
Yeah, the jazz drummer guy too.
Yeah, that's cool. But I've never seen like a metal band reacting, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of different. Like I think maybe people would like it. So it's nice to know that that is actually kind of caught on a little bit.
Yeah, because there's so much saturation. I am so surprised because I mean I came from the cover era where I thought that was saturated, but at least you needed to be like own a guitar, you know, to put a cover video of it, right? Like just own it, regardless if it was good or not. This is straight up just anybody can make this video at home. Everyone obviously has a camera, like your phone even. So it's like, wow, like it is saturated. So to see just any little thing stick out is just refreshing for once.
We appreciate that. That means a lot. Yeah.
Because I think now that you've talked about how you discovered us, I'll talk about how I discovered you. Because obviously you can tell by my shirt here, I'm I get at least one Amur reference in every podcast.
Yes, you do. You do.
I'm a huge fan of that band. But my very first video that I saw of yours was about 3-ish years ago, and you covered Natural Born Killer, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Like this was a long time ago. And then I noticed that you started getting into reactions. Because I think I saw that video, and then I can't remember. I remember you did the Bone Crew reaction, which is how I think I rediscovered you, I guess. But yeah, so what made you get into the reactions? Because I know that your very first one was Alex Kohler's project.
Ah, dude, holy shit!
I did some research, Adam. You see that? That's a journal.
Dude, I forgot that.
What made you do that one in particular, or what made you do reactions? And was it just extra content?
So that was kind of I think I was streaming or something, and I was like, oh, this came out, and I was like, well, I'm probably not gonna, it's like I doubt it's like a metal track. Like I don't know, I don't think it's gonna be like guitar cover like worthy or makes sense to do a guitar cover, just based on assuming it's kind of his rap project or whatever. But it's still like a metal vocalist, and I was just kind of on the spot because I didn't want to check out the song first before doing an actual video for it, because that kind of ruins the point. I was like, all right, let's just do a reaction. Like I see people are fucking doing it all the time. A lot of them have actually, it wasn't a lot of people. It was just a couple people that were doing, like Truant was awesome. I loved watching him. Hardcore Keem, I think, was already still doing it, and I really liked watching him because he's just fucking funny.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, and Metal Burb, I loved them as well. And then there was again a few other like smaller people that I had no clue, and then just didn't really do much with it. And I was like, I think I can bring a unique perspective because I'm actually like I've been in the YouTube scene, and again like metal musician point. Even though I'm sure I get the comments all the time, oh, you're not a real fucking musician. Like, yeah, true, but like I thought I had that very unique perspective where I could actually dissect the music instead of just say I like this. You know what I mean? And I think that added a lot of value to what could be a video. So I was like, fuck it, and I went with it. And people seem to not hate it. That was my first thing. It was just like they didn't hate it. Okay, that's a good start. And I tried it a bit more, and it kind of just became the thing where if I didn't, it was a band where I knew like it wasn't like a guitar-y or riffy kind of band, but I still wanted to check them out and kind of see what they're doing now. I was like, okay, that's kind of like a reaction band for me instead of like a guitar cover type band. And I kept just doing that whenever there was more like the post-hardcore, more chill bands like that. I would do a reaction instead of a guitar cover. And a guitar cover, if I knew the band, that would be like more riffy. And again, sometimes I got it completely wrong because I didn't hear the song first. I just kind of was assuming based on the band's genre and what they've showed before, what it might be like. But yeah, that's really what got me into it. I was just like, fuck it, like let's try it. Maybe people will like it. And if they don't, I'm not surprised because it's it's a weird thing to do, watch someone check something out.
Yeah, no, because I'll say personally, like I get a kick out of watching your reactions in particular because the way that you do it. So first of all, I love like the zoom-ins, the occasional zoom-ins.
That's the only trick I've learned on YouTube.
That's all you need.
5 years.
That's it.
Just the zoom in. I don't have any of the twists or the swirls and shit.
No.
I only know how to zoom in on Premiere, and that is it.
All you need is the zoom in your Russian Slavic accent accent that you do. That's all you need. I mean, that's it. That's the bit. But so, but what I really like though is that, like you said, you don't just go like, "Oh my god, that song was insane," and then say, "All right, guys, now follow me on Patreon and all this other," But you actually like you go like literally vocals, guitar, drums, bass, video. I mean, you do like the whole thing, which I think is really cool. And I really like that a lot because I'm in a band, of course, but like I'm not a guitar player, I'm not a drummer, I'm not a bass player. Like I don't know a lot of how that stuff works, so it's very interesting when you say it because I get it. Adam talks about this stuff too, and I find it interesting. It's at the end of the day, it's way over my head. Like I'm like I don't understand what you're saying, but it's cool
so true.
It's cool to like know, and then you're able to really articulate it very well immediately after you hear it, which is really cool.
I have trouble doing that personally myself. Like, I got to think about it. I like to listen to it a couple of times because typically when I listen to a song, it's the drum and guitar mix for me, and I listen a little bit of vocal melody line, but I have a hard time after during the first initial reaction or listen to disseminate that. So that's impressive.
That's why I don't do lyrics. Like people are like, "Why don't you like the lyrics to me?" If I'm like, "Bro, there's no fucking way I can follow the lyrics with like these ghost notes the drummer's doing while the guitar's doing some dissonant shit." Yeah, like I can't. It's too much. But
yeah,
that's what I use Rich for. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we had one person because we did for our last single, we did a Spotify pre-save campaign where if you pre-save the song, we'd do a reaction for you, which turned out to be just hell on earth, but because there was just so many.
So it's like over 70 of them. Some of the bands, I mean, some of the songs were like over a decade old. You know?
Fuck, dude.
Yeah,
some obscure Russian bands and stuff. I mean, some of the music was sick though. I gotta say, it was good, but still.
Yeah, but what I was going to bring up is that one guy in particular was like, can you give me some feedback on the lyrics? And I'm like, during the video, I'm like, I don't know what this guy wants me to say. Like, I have no idea. Like I can't really, like, they're good. Like, I don't know what else to say. But no, so I'm glad that you definitely got into the reaction game for that. But I guess kind of piggybacking a little bit off of that, so I know that you do the reactions, and obviously, like, we know very well that they get copywritten like 90% of the time. Like if they don't, like I remember we had a Lorna Shore one that didn't get copywritten. I'm like,
we're like, oh, we're rich now. Fuck.
Yeah, who do I tell?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So I know that you do that, and I know that you do guitar covers. Now, do those get copywritten as often as reaction videos?
Oh yeah, it's the same thing. That it just catches the WAV file. There is this new copyright thing, which is a visual copyright, which is interesting. It's like a separate than the audio, and the visual copyrights seem to be more strict. And I actually understand that because that ties a little bit more, I think, to the main purpose of why that system was implemented to stop, people from literally re-uploading the original music video back in the day, and just having that, or like like adding lyrics on top. Like that, I get a little more, even though it's still obviously not a fan of it. But yeah, every almost, let's say 90 to 95% of all my covers, all my reactions, not demonetized. That's simple as that.
So then pretty much what videos don't? Just like the ones that you like, your Meme Monday videos?
Yep, exactly. My Monday meme videos don't, and that's it. Like that's it. Other than again the few covers that get across and don't have copyright. But yeah, it's literally the Meme Monday videos. That's my AdSense.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Because I mean, no, because that's what I wanted to ask you about too. Is kind of this whole, with the reaction videos being copywritten. Now, do you view them as? Because to me, I look at it like this. So, like, I don't believe that you should get like a copyright strike for reaction videos. Because I know, like, on with Twitch right now, there's like that whole big DMCA thing going on where you can get your channel taken down and stuff like that. To me personally, and I just want to get your insight on this. Do you view reaction videos as like a replacement for somebody going to listen to the song themselves?
It's double-edged sword. It's not for the big bands. Not for the big bands, I don't think so. For the smaller bands, I think so sometimes, because I've actually had a case where I reacted to a much smaller band, and my reaction had more views than their band, and I felt so bad. I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't mean that to happen. Like, sorry. But at the same time, like, they were grateful. They're like, dude, thank you. Like, you brought exposure to our song. And that's why I think it has a lot of pluses that obviously labels do not give a fuck about. Like,
Right.
if I react to a song, even like, for example, Humanity's Last Breath, I did that a few days ago.
Yeah, I watched
and I'm
that
sure
yesterday.
a large portion of my metalcore, mainly audience don't know the Thal gods, the very heavy, jaunty, Humanity's Last Breath band.
Right.
And I was able to expose a good chunk of my audience to that band. And even though, they didn't get the plays for it on their video, but it's also like, but would they have gotten any of those plays anyways on their video?
Exactly.
When it's like, instead now they just have a bunch of new fans that's going to check out their whole catalog. And that's how I've always kind of seen it. And I get the labels. They want to make sure every, view is accounted for, every play on Spotify is accounted for. I get it, but I think they're really minimalizing way too much the value of just the straight up exposure or having a reaction.
That free marketing.
The free marketing.
It's free marketing.
They're really undervaluing that. I've seen some labels start to embrace it more. Like, labels will sometimes hit me up, be like, dude, it'll be whitelisted. You can get all the AdSense from the video. Can you check out this new song? We want you to. And I love seeing that. I'm like, thank you. Like, labels that embrace this as a marketing strategy, even, like, go for it. What the fuck, right? But no, it's still a lot of labels, publishers still minimalize it as just like, we're not getting accounted for those views you're getting, and it's like, but you're welcome for the merch sales that maybe that transition
right.
Exactly. Because I mean, I've discovered new bands through reaction videos.
Me too.
I guess the only thing too would be that, like, say, like, for, I don't know, we just think of a band like Attila comes out with a new song, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, I see that Nick reacted to it. Let me go check it out. I'm like, oh, I didn't really like that song. So I guess, like, I never check it out again. So I guess in that sense, it could be a replacement for it. But the one play. But no, it's like you said. I think that record labels should look at it more like that. I mean, it's literally, you're asking somebody with a big following on YouTube to just look at a song. They don't have to pay any money for it. And the creator just gets, the AdSense for it or whatever. But that band also gets more exposure. I think that should be a tactic that, because I really like to think in a marketing sense, and I know you do as well. And I can't wait to talk to you about that. But I'm just like, I think that is definitely an avenue that I think a lot of record labels should look at as a marketing tactic, are these bigger reaction channels.
That's literally how I marketed Lucid. I said, all reactors that I knew at that time, no copyright ID. Here's anything you need. Go. I had a huge slew of channels do it, and that I can guarantee that was a huge help on why that song got to where it is. And I knew it's just influencer marketing, for fuck's sake, So.
Exactly. Well, Nick, if you ever want to react to one of our songs someday, go ahead.
Dude, I got you, dude. Hell yeah.
Put him on the spot there to
you always do. This is how we get there.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how we get there.
Well, it's funny because, like, when you had first messaged us, Adam texted me, goes, Nik Nocturnal just messaged us.
I was literally on my phone. I just saw Nik Nocturnal. I'm like, oh, he must have had a new video because I sub, right? So,
thank you.
And I have for a while. And I'm not just saying that. But anyway, so I see it pop up, and I'm like, the fuck? That's not a new. He messaged Rich. Nik Nocturnal just messaged us, and I let him handle. He does like all the band relations, all the marketing. I'm a content guy, right, and then technical guy. So I said, I'm gonna let you handle this. Tell me what he wants, and you guys are chatting. I'm seeing the things come up through, and I'm just like, this is cool. And I'm like, Rich, what does he want? What does he want? What does he want? So it was just cool, because I mean, I found you do a lot of the, best riffs over a decade or from a genre, and that's how I found you, not from a reaction standpoint, but some of your covers and some of those, and kind of like an Andrew Baina, right? He does some cool covers, downtune stuff. You're doing like, riff mashup. I mean, you do a ton of different stuff, but that's how I found you, and I was just like, I mean, that stuff's got to take a shit ton of time. I mean,
yeah, it varies. Literally, this is Sunday is called my Work for Monday video. And that's literally what I do on Sundays is I spend the entire day finishing or working on the video for tomorrow, organizing it, not filming.
Right.
Tomorrow on Monday is when I film everything. I get it all edited. I cut it all. Everything is finished and uploaded that same day. And a lot of the time on Monday, if I have to push it, like like tomorrow, I actually don't know what fucking video I'm doing tomorrow. So here's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's if I don't get an idea tonight, tomorrow's gonna come. I'll be like, all right, whatever comes in my kooky ass head is gonna be what we're doing, and I do that entire thing in the day. But like the heaviest riffs, specifically that Decade video where there was like 70 of them.
Yeah.
I think that took me 4 or 5 days, like straight, because you have to
Oh my God.
you got to compile the list of bands first of all, compile the songs, compact it. That in itself, like the curating, takes like a day. And like no joke, it's insane.
Yeah,
because you don't want to leave any band out, but you also, you know, you want to make sure it's actually a good list and not just BS.
Yeah.
Same thing when I do like for the specific tuning, right? I have to make sure first of all the bands actually use that fucking tuning. I try to get in touch with the band.
Yeah.
I try to make sure they're actually the heaviest songs with that tuning. And then after that, I need to download all the MIDIs, download all the bass. Sometimes they don't have MIDIs or tabs, and I have to do it by ear and program it all. And then I have to record the guitar, and then I have to track all the details, and then I do the video thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fuck ton of work for those videos. And then sometimes I just do like the Rocksmith video where I just sat here and just filmed myself for an hour just playing Rocksmith, you know, and I just, whatever came out, came out.
Yeah.
You see, that's funny because that video got a ton of views like pretty quickly. Just like something that's not even.
It's amazing.
Like, it's time consuming. Yeah.
It just it baffles me what picks up and what doesn't. Like there's stuff that Rich and I'm like, oh my God, this was the best video we've done. This is so, and it gets like, you know, half the views that we normally get. I'm like, man, I thought that was a good video. Apparently it wasn't.
Oh no, that has happened with me. Some of my most successful videos, aside from like Slavic metal, which I did put a lot of time into, my most successful videos are ones that Monday came and I'm like, fuck it, straight up, whatever it is. Here's a list of things I was thinking, and if I chuckle at any of these still today that I wrote like them a week ago, and I still laugh when I hear the idea, even just a little chuckle, I'll do it, and I'll just flesh it out. I have no idea the full vision of it. I just go for it, and those are some of my most successful videos, like the 10 types of guitar students. You know, I did that in my room.
Yeah,
you know, things like that, just like on the spot that day. And I think for at least my audience, those do the best because they're the most raw. Like they're me in my dumbest original form. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where people can like much easier connect with that than like some crazy high production, like, oh, crazy guitarist, flashy shit that I don't do very often anyways. But yeah, they're just like, oh, this is raw. This is funny. I relate to it. Like I can picture myself in Nick's shoes, and like Nick, like I want people to feel like, oh, Nick's the type of guy I would just like have a beer with. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that is the marketing within that for me, I feel. And that's why those videos for me, I think, do better than the ones I spent like the heaviest riffs sometimes that I spent fucking 4 days doing. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just dedication right there. I mean, I just sit down and try to write a damn song. We were on Rich and I were on FaceTime trying to hash out, you know, we couldn't get a part after, you know, this riff that we're working on. I'm like, I don't know where to go. We sat for what, 2 hours trying to do it? So
it was
like
a little while. Yeah.
You know, just trying to figure stuff out. I mean, I don't think viewers understand a lot of the time how much time and effort and planning and, you know, technical abilities and, you know, that it takes to really just come up with a short video. You know, I'm not saying the 70s, you know, metal heaviest metal riffs was short, but I mean that's a ton of work.
Yeah, for like a 3-minute video, they don't see that stuff, and like they don't like like you said, the technical ability. That's a thing that I don't even account for anymore. That I had to learn how to, first of all, record myself at a young age, how to learn Cubase, had to learn how to mix everything myself so it didn't sound like shit, had to learn how a camera worked in general, had to work how lighting worked, and my lighting is still shit, as you can see by my blue glow right here. How
actually it's not too bad. It's you're
not
doing
too bad?
No, it's not too bad on our side, so it's okay.
I still use natural light. That's how I don't even have a light in my room. It's
Dude,
just
so do I got Jesus coming through my porch over there.
Yeah.
I got
so
my
videos
over me.
That's smart. My videos are dictated if the sun's out that day. It's so fucked up. And I've been doing this for like 5 years, but they don't see that.
It works.
The needing. Yeah, I guess so. And like the Adobe needing to understand how to video edit, how to export, then how to put it on YouTube, add the annotations, the out screens, the marketing. They don't see any of that, and I don't even think of any of that because you just do it. Right?
Yeah,
you just go. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes it tougher, you know, doing it with a single person. Luckily, that Rich and I tend to split stuff up. So I know you said you had a job, or you get back from work. What do you do, if you don't mind me asking, for normal job? Because I know you do Patreon and stuff like that.
This is it.
This is it.
Oh yeah, I'm a YouTuber full time.
This is it. Okay.
Yeah, this is like, and I say that very delicately because everything that I make any income source off is based on YouTube, but I do a few things like teach.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Production work.
yeah, you do teach
Yeah.
guitar. I know that.
Production work, fucking guest solos, the Patreon stuff, helping out people. Oh, ad videos. You know, like it's sponsored videos, things like that. That I guess that's kind of YouTube. But even that, like tying to what you said, like I had to learn how to be a marketer. Like that is a completely different mindset. You have to know how to market a product when you do those videos and edit all the shots nicely and you know, fucking negotiate a fair price and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to ask you too. I mean, obviously, without getting into numbers and whatnot, but like, what is like? Because I know you have a lot of different revenue sources, and like, what would you say are like a kind of like a brief breakdown of that, just for somebody who's like an aspiring full-time content creator? Like, what are they getting themselves into?
AdSense is kind of shit, but it's still up there. YouTube, it's never been like the greatest thing ever. Patreon and those are my biggest, you know, that's how I live, is those two. I've been lucky because of that and fortunate. Lessons I do every Saturday. It's just a side thing. I literally do it for fun. It's like,
oh wow,
yeah. I'm like every Saturday, you know, I don't have to make a video. Fuck it. Like I'll teach 5 students that day, and just go with that. So that helps. That's a smaller chunk, but it definitely adds up. The sponsored videos are a little wishy because some months you'll have like for 3 months you'll have 0, and then 1 month you'll have like 5 companies, you know, wanting to come and do that stuff. So that one's a little weird to calculate on like a monthly basis. And then guest work too is a smaller portion. Merch is a smaller portion. So yeah, like the big ones are definitely the Patreon, AdSense, and now Twitch, actually, surprisingly. But other than that, everything is they're just like kind of these smaller ones that all clump together are like, oh fuck, okay, like that's
we're doing okay.
We're doing okay, man. We're doing okay. Yeah,
I can buy bread this week. I'm good.
Yeah, I can eat some Nutella. I'm fucking solid.
There you go.
Well, it's good that you have so many different sources too, because I mean, like, a lot of this stuff is very wishy-washy in terms of, especially Patreon, where like cards could get declined the next month or people drop off, and then it's like, oh no, I lost, you know, $200 on Patreon, but then Twitch is going up as well.
Yeah, and I liked diversifying my risk like that, because hey, I don't like, YouTube could just be like, I don't know, we're deleted today. Like I don't fucking know what they'll do. You know what I mean? Like, and it could be gone.
Well, with Joe Rogan leaving, who knows?
Yeah, you know, like YouTube's done. Like, and that happened with the virus. Like AdSense got, at least from my CPM and a few other people I've talked to, like cut in half. Just okay, that's cool. Wow. I didn't know I got cut in half. That's great. I didn't need that anyways, but it didn't hit me that bad. It hit me for like 5 minutes. I was like, fuck. But then it's like, okay, whatever. Focus on my other income sources. And I like having that as an option. So it's not like panic mode. You know, then it doesn't feel like I work for somebody, really, right? Even though I technically work for YouTube, it's like, no, I do work for myself. It's not just if YouTube decides to fuck off one day, my life is over. It's like, I can do this, I can do this, I'll be fine in some fashion. If any of these income sources at one point just say bye for who knows what reason, right?
Dude, I would love to be a YouTuber for the one reason where, like, you could, like, if you were like to go on a date with a girl, they'd be like, oh, so what do you do for? You'd be like, I'm a YouTuber, and they'd be like, oh, what? I mean, it's like the funniest thing.
I'm lucky I met my girlfriend before I became a YouTuber.
Yeah, so, I was gonna ask you that. Yeah. You know, you're sitting there at a restaurant, getting ready for the appetizer. So, okay, what do you like to do for fun? Okay, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a YouTuber. Because like, what's cool is like that is actually becoming a more like normalized job. Because like I have a 9-year-old son. And like that's what he tells me he wants to do. He's like, I want to be a YouTuber, and it's like, it's like if he was a kid, like obviously 20 years ago YouTube wasn't around, but you know what I mean. Like if he was a kid 10 years ago, people would be like, "What the hell's the matter with you? You got to go to college or something like that, or university as they call it in Canada." Yeah, so I think that's great that you're able to do it full time, and like you're able to diversify all this risk, and but in terms of the marketing. I guess this kind of goes for bands though, is like, what is something that you wish that bands would do more as terms of marketing? Because I feel like a lot of bands, they have like this music that they work all these years on, and they just throw it out into the stratosphere and they hope for the best.
Exactly. Yeah. I want them to not do that. That's
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah. I want them to do anything but that. Cause yeah, you can have a great product, but you're just throwing it in this slot machine, hoping that the algorithm just favors you if you don't have anything pushing for you. Like, it's ridiculous. You work all this time on a sick song that you're super proud of, that you put money into, just to be like, okay, I hope it, someone catches it in the wind. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna go viral.
Yeah, like
3 views later.
Yeah, I've seen it happen, but it's like, really, you're just doing that? Like, and these people, and again, me doing this myself for like 5-6 years, I'm like, you fuckers have 5 people in your band, and not each and every one of you are nonstop like on that social media grind. I'm like, how are, like, when a new song comes out, hit up people, hit up the blogs. The blogs will say fuck off. Just hit them up. Who cares even if they say fuck off, right?
It's what we do. We get told to fuck off all the time.
That's great, right? You get better at,
and I don't care.
That. Yeah, right. Like, people are so scared of like rejection or hitting people up. Hit people up. You're gonna be ignored. No shit. If no one knows who you are, you're gonna be ignored. I get fucking like 10 reactions in my email a day. I'm not even a reaction channel. I do it like once every 2 weeks. I'm sorry, I can't get to y'all. No hate, right? If everyone's like emailing me, it's just not gonna happen. But to one time, the whole point is to maximize your luck, is kind of what I call it. If instead of just putting the slot machine and throwing it out there, you only have this one thing that can blow up. Well, if you open up all these extra opportunities, send it to a label, send it to a reactor, send it to a blog, market on social media, make friends, send it to your friend who's in the network who knows that. You're adding all these extra little pieces of paper other than just this little small song you're throwing out there, that any of them then just need to be caught by a few of the right people. And you're kind of maximizing those chances. And hey, you could put in all that fucking work and get nothing out of it still. And guess what? If you did all that work, then I'm going to say to you, you just got unlucky, and I'm sorry, right? If that still happens at the end of that. But if you did all that work, honestly, and you're still persistent of it, and you push and you push, and you just keep opening every avenue door where people can hear your music, find ways, take times to do podcasts, for fuck's sake, interviews. Like, it doesn't matter how big the people are. Chat with people, because you don't know who's going to be watching that, or maybe, hey, that person's going to blow up one day and be the top, interviewer of the year, and then people are going to go back and watch. Like, there's so much there's so many variables and so much luck involved that all you can do is maximize it. If you maximize it, people almost can't ignore it. Like, if you throw one piece of paper in the air, almost no one see it. If you fucking dump like the litter of the ocean in the air, somebody's going to see it. You know what I mean? Like, people can't ignore it at that point. And that's the goal, is market to the point where people can't ignore it without spamming, because that's dumb as shit. And I did that too when I started. Right.
Yeah. And so when you say spamming, though, you mean like literally messaging, copy and paste.
Check out my band, 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 check out my band. And that's the only message. You don't even know. Just straight up check out my band. There's no like, just check out my band. Yeah, that's what I mean by spamming.
Yeah. So, because for our last single, we were doing a giveaway for a Nintendo Switch Lite. So I did do the copy and paste, but I'm like, you know what though? You could have a chance to win a Nintendo Switch Lite.
That's
so I mean, at least it's something in it for you, not just go listen to my band. But
because people have to understand that and this is gonna sound so like mean in some way, but it's also just kind of reality. They don't have value until they create their own value in that industry or that scene. Like, why do I have to listen to your band? Like, you didn't sell me on it. There's fucking tons of other bands. And this is exactly the mindset also of a record label. Bands trying to get signed, even though I don't know if that's still a thing nowadays, because everyone can do it themselves.
That's a big question we ask,
It's like, well, why? And then that's when like 90% of the bands will be like, because we wrote it. It's like, what the fuck? Like, and that's because, and no one even asked them that, though. No one takes the time, and they're like, why? What are you going to say to that question, really? And that's what you have to already have explained to them in that intro email of why. Hey, I'm this. We have this unique thing. We think you'll dig it because of this reason, right? Sell it. Right. Sell that shit. Don't just throw the song, because then then that's just, to that person's mind a lot of time, just kind of spam. Like, they don't care. It's going to go right past them.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, we have some friends here in our local scene, and they had been working on music for
2 years,
years, and then they just like they released the full album just like randomly one day, and I'm like, oh, like I felt like melting like for them. I'm like, God, it's
Yeah.
like
I don't
oh,
even
man.
think it was a decent release, and I don't think they ever hit more than 100 listeners on Spotify.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why the single routes now, man, because it's like you spend
Yep.
all this fucking work, and you're just gonna give it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like what?
Yeah, there's so much there. So the first thing though is that I really like how you worded it as maximizing your luck or however
Mhm.
you worded it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because for our most recent single, not only did we do the switch and giveaway, but I mean I literally used my journalism degree for the first time ever writing press releases.
Right.
Yeah.
And I sent it out to like literally I have a spreadsheet of maybe like
Yes.
50 blogs.
Perfect.
Like and like trying to like word it a little bit differently, or like the other thing that I tried to do was to try to like find like okay, like I had like a spreadsheet of blog, contact, and then like bands, and especially because we had a feature on there from the vocalist from
Right.
Dealer, and I
That's a
tried to
good song.
I tried to tie that in as well. Like, oh, you guys did an article about Dealer, maybe be interested in this
Yes.
song as well. So like I tried to tie that in, but then for our reaction channel, I said to Adam like it was, and I feel I hope people don't take it the wrong way when I say this, but it was very calculated in that I was like, this is definitely a marketing tactic for the band, and then through that. Ronnie Radke's checked us out a couple times. Jake
Right.
Lures checked us out, which was awesome. Like he started doing reaction videos because he came across
That's
ours.
cool to see.
Yeah, that was rad.
Yeah, so that's awesome that you put it that way. Because the other thing I wanted to bring up, because obviously I know that you do Patreon, and I know that you do this full time, and the thing that I can't help but think of, and I talked about this with Metal Burb a little bit, you have a big following compared to like you have more of a following compared to the like you're in the top 1%, as Bernie would call it. You know what I'm saying? So like you have a bigger following.
Right.
So I know that you said that you get a lot of requests for reactions.
Yeah.
What has made you, other than just integrity, if anything, not just been like, okay, I'll do your reaction for $100, $200, because you can make a ton of money that way.
I could make some good money. Oh fuck yeah, I could make some good money doing that. Because and like I don't have anything against people who do that. Like that's their business, right? Like I do sponsored videos, but the thing is, it's like I'll do it for like bias or something, like a product that I actually like and I like the people. Like I never endorse anything that I don't actually like just for the fucking paycheck.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I've had even tons of like CBC or the fucking weed oils. I don't know.
CBD.
CBD.
That stuff. And it's like, dude, I have nothing against weed, but I've just never been really, I've never even smoked it in my life.
Me neither.
It's not something I use. So it's like, even though you're going to pay me this dumb fucking amount of money right now, like a stupid amount of money to do this, I can't do it because it just doesn't make sense. And I've had a lot of those things. And same thing with reaction. It's like, if I started charging, I feel like it takes the exciting content part of it away because then it's just pay to win. I never was a fan of kind of pay to win and that kind of game turns. It's like,
it's a World of Warcraft term there.
Yeah.
Oh no, let's stay off of that road. All right, let's stay off of that.
The pay to win, and it's like, and I'm okay with like small things. Like if someone's like, hey, like I was even thinking of it, like I'll maybe do one Sunday where submit your band for like fucking $10. I'll react to it on stream. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, I think every one of your band members can like get $2 and not spend it on a McGriddle instead. You know what I mean? Right? You'd be surprised. Yeah, and it's like I don't mind the small amounts because that kind of almost just filters some of like the spam you'd get.
Right.
If I said, hey, everyone, send me your shit.
That's actually a great idea.
Done. Yeah. But it's like when it gets to the big bucks with that stuff, again, I get it for the reaction channels that it's like their reaction and they don't actually get the sponsored video. So this is kind of their equivalent to a sponsored video instead of doing like a, hey, check out like NordVPN or whatever. And not that I've actually worked with them. They're cool company though.
I have.
Yeah, exactly. Like check them out. It's more like, hey, check out this band. But it's weird because it's so it kind of fucks with the content itself a little too much if it's that expensive. Like if somebody gives you $400 to review a song, I don't think you can be unbiased about it. It's so weird when someone
you don't want to tell them it sucks.
And the thing is, you don't know if you'll even like their product, which is a little different with the brand stuff. It's like, okay, like I've tried the product, I know I like it. Like, sure, now like let's do it because I actually believe in your product. It's not like you can't check out the product before. Whereas reaction, that's the whole point. You can't check out the song. So it's like if you're worried about being a dick because then they won't pay you $500 again or however fucking much the top tier reactors, I have no god clue how much they
we're not
charge
there,
them.
so we don't know either.
It's probably a good penny. Let me put it that way, like one of those numbers you hear and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like one of those types of numbers. And again, like that's why I don't charge with reactions, because I want my reactions to still be special. You know, I try to uncorrupt as much of my content as possible. What I mean by that is like like unadd it. You know, I don't want to spam ads. I have sponsored videos here and there. Again, it's because it's products I like. But I also don't have like a bunch of sponsored videos. I like to keep my reactions kind of sacred in that sense of like, they're very much, there's no monetary incentive in this shit. It is just me, raw content. And I try to do that for as much as my content as possible, because I know as soon as, and I've even felt this, as soon as I start to care about, oh, I want to do this because it'll get me money, I stop giving a fuck about doing that thing, because it's not fun anymore. It's just, it has that weird feeling. Like, I
feels like a job, right?
Yeah, I knew if I was getting paid just to do a reaction, or a band would send me that, I'd be like, okay, what's the next one on the list? You know what I mean? Instead of like, oh my God, I can't wait to check this out because it's hyped as shit, right? It's just a different mindset. And I never want to lose the love for making the content. And it's always that really fine line of that, the monetary aspect. And that's why I try my best to blend it, because again, it keeps that integrity, which I feel is such a core part of my channel. Like, it's just, it's me, it's Nick. I'm not some weird fucking fake YouTube personality. Like, what you see of that dumb faces and all that shit, that's just me being a dumbass. Like, that's me, right? And I want to try to keep that as legit as possible, while still being open with working with companies that I do believe in, and brands, and being like, hey, to my audience, hey guys, this is going to be a sponsored video. I like the product. I think you guys will too. I'm getting paid for this shit. No shame. You know what I mean? That kind of openness I really like as well too. So it's just finding that blend is really tough.
Do those sponsored videos, are they reaching out to you, or are you using their products already, or are they like, hey man, we got this coming out. Here, check this out. Let me know if you want to do a video with it or something.
It's more so them reaching out to me, because it's literally called influencer marketing. Like, these companies are on that fucking ball now. Labels are for some reason slow on it, but the business companies are right on it, right? The fucking video game mobile phones are getting them metal people to check out their game, right?
Right.
And yeah, so it's a lot of time them coming to me, and then me seeing the product first. I will never just blindly accept a product. And a good example is even like, and no shame, like I did one for Gothic, a ring company, a few days ago for one of my videos, 30-second plug. And I saw the product and I was like, this is the coolest fucking jewelry I've ever seen in my whole life. I like just want the product. Like, I almost don't even give a fuck about the money they'll give me for that brand deal. I just want the product. So that was like a really good example of like just loving the thing and being excited and being proud to promote it. You know what I mean? Not feeling that like guilty, like dirty feeling of like, hey guys, go buy this. And you're just like, please don't buy it, actually.
While you have your hand behind your back, like taking the money.
Some sort of like new, like, callus removal lotion or something like that for your guitar fingers, and it like, melts some dude's fingers off because you haven't used it and you're like promoting it. You want to avoid that, Get
this cataract surgery.
Yeah, and I have to even, I had to think of VPN ad one time, and I was actually, another example, like I actually really needed a VPN to watch Netflix. I was like, I want to watch American Netflix, and this was perfect. I tried it, it worked, and I was like, fucking, I'd just tell my audience to use this anyways. You know what I mean? But I'll get paid for it too. Like, I don't mind. So I like to do that kind of blend where I really do believe in whatever it is. So, because I know my audience is not stupid, and I think a lot of people underestimate their audience is smart level. Oh god, I said that so unsmart. Like, their intelligence. They underestimate their intelligence so much, and it's like, guys, when you're doing a very obvious ad that you're just trying to sell something, and you really don't give a fuck about it, your audience instantly knows that shit. They know, man. Like, you can't fake that. Right. So I'm very honest with my audience when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Even when I'm streaming, I'll talk about getting brand deals. I'm open with that, because I feel like, even though it's some weird taboo thing, ooh, I make money because I promoted a product, it's like, no, I want to be honest with you guys, because again, like, I think the things I promote with these companies are actually good things that I think will help a lot of you guys. So
I don't see any problem with that at all. I mean, especially doing like, if you believe in the product, because I mean, even we have been hit up to a much smaller level of certain products Like one of them was like this ice cream that I got hit up about, and I'm like, like I was kind of just like, so what's the deal here? And they're like, oh, it would bring if you, but how did they word it? They were like, by you sponsoring us, it will also bring more attention to you guys. I'm like, huh?
Is the
you
metal
guys-
community big ice cream
Is this
eaters?
Yeah, it's and just like brands will try their best to take advantage of smaller people. It's just gonna happen. It tried to happen to me. I just didn't let it. Don't let that. Do not let them understand your value. And I can tell you guys understand your value, which is awesome. Don't ever let that be diminished. Just again, because these brands should pay you what they should pay you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you get free ice cream. I'm like, okay, I'll go get Breyers. I like
Yeah.
Breyers better. Like I like Breyers.
and that's also why I try to limit it. And this is more of a business side, which I don't know if this entertains anybody, but I try to limit my focus on direct income versus my passive income. So direct income meaning like money that I have to earn on the spot, and that's it. Like you get that money and you don't get any more from that money. It's just I did this, now I get like I performed a service. Whereas the passive is like a Patreon, right? Every month I'm doing something and I keep reaping the benefits for something I've done before. And the passive is very much more linked to my brand and kind of the brand integrity because it's very tied in with my audience. And that's how I have the passive income and how I can keep building that. And that's the thing that's going to bring longevity. Whereas if I just focused on like, let's say direct income, like sponsored deals, if I oversaturate that, the value of my brand gets diminished, meaning the passive income gets diminished. And I'm also not focusing on passive income. Whereas direct income is like, oh yeah, it's great. I get like fucking like, oh God, I don't know if you have like a few brand deals at a higher up level, like $2,000 now, but then it kind of takes a hit for the rest of your stuff. So I've always focused on building my passive income, and it's a longer, harder grind. But if you can get to that point where your passive income pays everything and then the direct income is almost optional for you, you feel that level of control over your life and kind of that power of like, no one can buy me. In that sense, that's so amazing that I recommend anyone try to focus more on that passive side than just make the quick buck right away and focus. The brand matters more than anything.
And brands can go south very, very, very quickly these days, as we know, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So turn down the McDonald's money, people. Turn down the McDonald's.
I would do a McDonald's deal, man. I like
me too.
I would do a fucking McDonald's
double
deal.
cheeseburger. I'll take it.
I would take it just for like a month free at McDonald's, bro. McDonald's, hit me up. I'll do a bid for you, fam.
I'll tell you my guilty pleasure. It's not even a guilty pleasure, honestly.
This is
20-piece nugget, man. Like
there's no guilt when you eat those, dude. When we're traveling,
I wolf them. It's like
take 2 bites of my damn hamburger. He's like, I could eat another 20 of these. I'm like, you're already done?
It's like that SpongeBob episode where Patrick's like mouth opens up and he like vacuums in everything.
Dude, my guilty pleasure from there is obvious is the Big Mac and weirdly the Filet-O-Fish, like the most weird.
Really?
Ooh, I do like a Filet-O-Fish.
Yeah, right. I know. I don't know why. It's just something about it tastes so terrible that it's good.
It is.
I love it.
Yeah. Dude, sometimes the more terrible, like when you can consciously accept like this food is just dog shit for you, it makes it taste that much better. Like it just does. Like they're like, what if that was on the floor? I'm like, it adds to the flavor. But
I don't know about you guys, but every time I eat because I usually go for the double quarter pounder, right? So I just feel my arteries clogging as I'm eating it.
Oh yeah, I feel like garbage, but it's like
so good though.
Like you're committing a sin kind of garbage. Like,
oh yeah, like you're getting you're like Bill Clinton in the other room, like whoa, 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 but anyway, what I wanted to, because Adam and I have talked about doing the whole Patreon thing, but also trying to do it in a way that brings more value, as opposed to, you know, like you said, because a lot of Patreons are, which is very strange to me that I see this, but they're like, all right, it's $5 for a reaction, but then they expect you to like stick around.
Thank you. You're one of the few people that understand that Patreon is a subscription thing, not a one-time service place. You got to offer a subscription service. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Because I have literally, I've done it, right? Like I've gone on Patreons because I want to market the band, and I'm like, all right, like $20 for a reaction for a channel with 10K subs, like. I mean, it's $20.
Dude, I'll pay that like right now.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I've done that, and then like for whatever reason, they're a bigger channel and they charge a lesser amount, and they're not able to get to it. And then it's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to keep paying you for what I like. If you say it's $25, I don't want to have to pay you for 3 months. You can catch up on all your other stuff. Like that's not fair to anybody.
Exactly.
Because I think a lot of these. Sorry, go. Yeah, what I was just gonna say is that a lot of these Patreons get in way over their head with this stuff. And yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I'm completely. I agree with you 100%, and I'm glad I'm talking to people that actually understand that mindset. Because a lot of people that I know who've done Patreon, it's so weird to them, they don't get it, and I'm like, it's because like so many people are on there like $50 a month, you get my like I don't know a piece of my guitar pick. Like what the fuck? Like why am I gonna pay monthly for a guitar pick? They're
Exactly.
not. It's
You don't need a piece. You know, we just give them away. It's freaking like $13 a bag of 100.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and
like
I think a lot of these channels, and this is kind of where it comes to the passive idea and the direct income and the brand idea, and these ideas all really blend together, where they bank money only on their brand. They're like, people will pay this extraordinary amount because of the brand, instead of thinking, I want to provide a good subscription service that people would buy regardless of who I am, but then my brand is going to push it after. That's how you get the good shit that people actually love, respect, and keep coming back, and loyalty, instead of just here's $50. So I don't know. I say hi to you, you know, on email like once a month. It's like it's too much banking on your brand, and then your brand's value gets bought out a bit. It gets a little diminished, and you never want to fuck with your brand's value.
it gets diluted. You know, it's kind of like going back to what you were saying about, you know, the reaction channels. And this is something that we have done. I mean, we've taken bands. I mean, we're not a big band by any means, but you know, bands that are our size, bigger, small, whatever. But they're like, hey, can you do a reaction? So when we first started the channel, we were like, yeah, sure, what the hell, you know, we'll do that. But now it's become so much time, and it takes effort, and then those videos get 25 views. You know, we're not getting the reach on our end, but you're getting, you know, the reach on your end. So, you know, and we talked about this with Metal Burb a little bit, and he made a good point about it too. But, you know, it's got to be a mutual beneficial. I mean, we're not charging anything, so you know, it's got to have some. It's probably not a word, is it, Rich? Mutuality? Is that a word?
I know what you mean, though. Yeah,
you know,
some kind of mutual.
It sounds
benefit
really good.
It sounds.
It sounds like a bank.
It's not a mutual fund, dude.
Come up with a checking account at Mutuality today. But,
I'm copywriting that. Anyone uses that anymore? You owe me 5 cents every time.
Yeah, exactly. But no, because that's a lot of what I've really like when I sit down and I like, you know, I'm sure you did this too when you come up with your Patreon. Is you sit down, and you're like, all right, $1 tier, this they get this, and I try to come up with things that could be on a revolving basis.
Yes, it has to be.
It has to be. And I've thought about like, you know, maybe you do a tier that is specifically dedicated for like the McDonald's thing, but I really want to do something that's a revolving thing, and I have a really hard time coming up with that. So I'm glad that like I can express that to you, and you can reiterate to me that it's important to really make sure that you come up with a subscription model Patreon, because I subscribe to Patreons that are like you know, like different, you know, podcasts and different videos and stuff like that are exclusive to that, and I can depend on that week in and week out, and I'm getting something new all the time, which is great. But yeah, I mean, because like I think it's very weird to like pay a revolving membership for a react, because I'm not gonna pay for a year on Patreon for you to react to my one song. It's just weird. Like I'm not.
Yeah, I think of it like, would you buy Netflix if they only had like 100 shows and never would update it? Like, would you pay every month for eternity for that? No, you watch them all in 1 month and then you're done.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd pay till I watched it all, and then I'd move on to the next one. Exactly. Yeah. It's just it's weird, but yeah, because that's what I wanted to ask you about, especially, you know, because we get asked. I would say it's probably, I don't know, Adam, what would you say? Maybe once a week or so that we get asked to do somebody's reaction. Sometimes, and I
more
say
than that. I mean, I get probably 3 to 5 a week, just on Instagram or Facebook. Hey, you know, we got this new song coming out. You guys should check it out. And it's
Yeah,
back to what you were saying,
very,
right? Like
compelling pitches. Yeah,
I can't
compelling.
go and listen to it and then not like it, and then do a video for it, even if I do like it, because then you lose the genuine reaction. So
Exactly.
you're kind of like, you can roll the dice. Are you gonna get snake eyes or not? You know what I mean? So hope.
And it loses the fun. Like that. It's kind of diluting your brand. It's also diluting your content if you do it every day, right? Like this different, and it's less special when people look in their feed. They're like, okay, like, yeah, they'll always be there. Just here's another video, another reaction today.
Right.
But it's much more special when you see that one every month that you're like, oh my God, they uploaded a new reaction. And it's been like a month. It's just that hype factor that makes everything so exciting. And it just makes it special. And then that also adds to that person's, again, that brand value, because it makes them that special tier of like, wow, like they're doing this special, like almost like they have this weird unspoken like up on everyone in that way, because they don't need to post it all the time. They don't need a reaction every day. They just know that they just need that one, and they got to make it good and special, and then they're out. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Because what happens with that though too is like obviously we have, I think it's like, what are we up to now? Like 5,500 subs on YouTube. But I kind of feel that like, because I know what it's like. Because I mean, we are like a smaller band. I know what it's like to be that smaller band and to want, to get the exposure that you feel like you deserve, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
So like, and that way I'm a little sympathetic, but then it turns into like it's got to be some kind of understanding that it's like, you kind of have to, it goes both ways, especially with a business relationship like that.
Right.
So like I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like I remember, I won't say when or whatever, but I'll just say there was one video that we did, and I had screenshotted Adam like the analytics of it, and I'm like, dude, I'm not I hate to word it that way, but I'm like, I'm not gonna take a half an hour out of my time or an hour out of my time to edit this video for 30 views. Like I agree
with that, man. And it's like, that's where it kind of comes in, is like, are you just working hard, or are you working smart? Are you working hard at working smart, right? And it's like just feeling the grind, because that's like the grind's sake, right? Like it kind of links to when bands, even nowadays still, like, they've never even released a song. They'll just go on tour, a completely new band, no one knows them.
That's another thing we talk about all the time. We talk about that all the time.
And it's like, why? So you can spend money so one person can maybe check out your band? Dude, there's so many, like, that's just working hard. And I commend those people for their hard, like, that's hard job. I couldn't do that shit. Fuck no, right? But there's just smarter ways to do it. And then when you find the smarter, more organized way that you're actually getting a benefit out of it, that makes sense, then put the grind into that. And that's what creates the big, like, oh shit, now things are popping.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to actually talk to you about too, because obviously we haven't talked about it much, and other than the very top, because I know that you do a project with Andy Cizek from Monuments and 30. How many bands are you now? 38?
No, 30, 38, 39. 39, we might be missing one. Yeah,
I don't even know what he writes about for lyrics anymore. But what I wanted to say to you, because I know that I watched your podcast with Scene Daddy, with Andrew Baina, with a whole bunch of other ones. So I heard you already say this, but it's obvious that, Termina is not a touring project, and it probably won't be unless you literally have people pounding down the door. But so I guess my thing is that I know that a lot of bands, and I find it very weird. There's like this sacred, especially in metal, right? There's like this sacred right of, you got to eat shit for 10 years before you can be anything in this genre. And like, why do you think that is? And do you think that more bands, and I know you already said it, but should approach that, get the digital marketing stuff down, like make people want you, and then go?
I like to put it very bluntly, no one gives a fuck about how hard you worked in your life. No one gives an absolute fuck. Okay? And just because you worked hard, that does not mean the world owes you shit either.
Exactly.
Okay? And I think the more people that really get that in their brain will understand, okay, I need to think about this a little differently. I use this analogy sometimes where it's like, okay, if a guy wants to move a rock, right, and he's on an island or some shit, and, well, is he just going to keep fucking punching it with his fist until he gets it moving? Or should he take the time to maybe go cut down a tree, try to build something that can cut that rock or even move it, right?
I like
Why
that.
put so much work? That's not getting you anywhere. So much more effort, and think that then you earn something for that effort instead of just trying to be creative and think outside the box and do things differently, and then put that grind there and work hard. And that's when you're going to see results. That's when the world, you'll start to see, will actually reciprocate. But even at that point, the world never owes you shit.
Never.
Doesn't matter how fucking hard you work, even though you might actually, like some people will be like, wow, like you really deserve that. The world don't give a fuck. Right? The world, that the person that's going to give it to you doesn't give a shit. Right? Even no matter how hard you deserve it, you gotta go and you gotta keep it. And you can never do it with the expectation of getting something back for it. You gotta just go and grind it and do it smart. And that ties directly to the band idea. Like, I see these bands and some of them are talented and they're just going on the road and they're getting burnt out and they're spending money instead of making money. It's like, guys, there's like, this is 2020, man. Like, you gotta find, there are so many ways to get your name out there in the music world. So many fucking ways where all you'd need is a camera or just something. Use your strengths, right? Everyone has their own unique strengths. Play to those strengths and see what you can bring to the market, the music community that is unique and different, that people can't ignore almost. Not that you expect people's attention, but that is so cool or so different that you're maximizing your luck in that sense, and that people literally can't ignore you because it's just this cool thing. And then they tell their friends and they're like, dude, check this shit out. This is so fucking cool. And then even if it has nothing to do with your band, who cares? If each of your members are doing that and one of them catches on, you have 5 chances there, right? 5 chances for this to happen. And if they're all doing something special and playing to their strengths and maximizing that social media, all it takes is one of them. And then they say, hey, you fuckers, check out my band now. Oh, wow. Maybe now we have an audience. Maybe now it might be kind of worth to go on tour. And then as long as they're always on the grind, because I also see bands that are on tour, they're just like, yeah, like we're on tour. Like we kind of just drive and like fuck around. And then like we play our show for an hour and then like we're on break the rest of the day. I'm like, if I don't work, like if I only work 1 hour a day, I would go insane.
Oh,
like
I
need to
bananas.
I need to always be doing something to be productive in that sense. Like if you're on the road, be on your socials. Dude, you just do anything creative you think that will bring an edge up. And if every one of your band members are doing that, that all adds up. All these doors are going to keep opening. You just have to find the right one eventually, as long as you're grinding and doing it smart. So yeah,
that's a good question. I know, because I want to branch off of that a little bit, and I don't know if it's going to be what Richard's going to ask, but a lot of the bands that we either react to or we talk to, it's usually 1 or 2 members that drive the hypothetical bus.
Exactly.
We are in a similar position. Rich and I kind of, I write a lot of the music. Rich does, has a lot of opinion on it. We work together on it. So, he does all the lyrics and stuff. I mean, it's difficult to find people who really give a shit as much as, the other people in the band. So, how do you overcome that type of stuff? Because I know you do a lot of your solo stuff, right? So you're programming a lot of stuff.
That's how you overcome it.
That's how I overcame it. Yeah.
But it's funny, is there? I mean, you have access to a lot of people in the music industry. Have you learned any secrets of how they do it, or is that really the secret sauce? Somebody lays out the vision and then it executes, or what are you seeing from other people?
So yeah, and I hate, because again, this is such a, like, I love music. It's a beautiful creative craft, and I know so many people hate the business side, even though it's so ingrained. And I have a love and passion for both, right? And I try not to like dilute one with the other too much. But you gotta fucking think of a band like a business. If you ever opened up, like, I don't know, a croissant shop, like, I don't know why the fuck I picked that, but like, and you have 5 partners, right? 5 equal partners,
right?
You expect them all to be contributing equally to that, all the financial expenses, all the time. If you have 3 out of those 5 people not doing anything, how are you, like, it's so hard unless those 2 people carry you so fucking hard, right? Unless those 2 people, then they don't even need the other people at that point. Why are the other members even there?
Yeah.
Unless they contribute something special. Because even though, like, yeah, like, everyone should grind, but even things as just being a good, fun person, like just a positive, helpful person, a good friend is honestly should be much more valued than I think a lot of people do in a band, even if they don't have the crazy, they don't do the business stuff, but they're just a good person that you can trust. You can be like, hey dude, I really need this, can you do this? No problem. If you have one of those people in your band, that's awesome, even if that's all they contribute, right? But of course, then there's still the stress of, let's put a little bit more on the other people for that other stuff to make sure it succeeds. But then those people are acting more as like a support, right? And a lot of these bands, I do see like 1 or 2 people that are carrying the fuck out of the band, and you could tell the other 3 people are just there. They're just there because they don't know what to do with their life and they don't give a fuck, right? They're just and it sucks, and you see it take a toll on the band. And unless, again, those rare occasions where it does exist, those bands, those 2 people or the 1 person can carry so hard that it doesn't even matter. They might as well just be on the band on their own. It's not going to happen. You just can't get there, again, unless you get lucky, or you have 2 people that are just so intense at grinding,
right?
And you know, and that's why it's like the perfect blend. And I like to use Periphery as an example. Any one of those people could be in their own band,
right?
And that's why they're so damn successful, because they're all gods at what they do. They're just top tier. And they all contribute insane amounts of things, the mixing, the production work, and they're all friends too, right? And that's so important. And honestly, beyond all of this, number one, if you do not trust your band members, you are fucked. Done. As simple as that. It's no matter how talented they are, if you can't trust them, you're fucked in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, because there definitely there's been times where, you know, it comes up to, it's like a, you know, this guy's really talented and this guy's not as talented, but this guy who's not as talented would add this, whereas the guy who is more talented just adds the talent level.
Exactly.
And it's like, where's the happy medium with that? But no, it's interesting, like you said, like a lot, like I think of it like, if we were to ever go on a tour for a lengthy amount of time, because we haven't done that, we have talked, and we're just like I don't see the benefit other than like if it was like a bucket list item, right? Like to like, oh, I just want to go on a tour. Like, okay, that's cool. But like I've never, like Adam and I, you know, we have kids and stuff like that. Like if we're gonna do that, we want to make sure it's like really like the right spot.
Yeah, I'm not paying for a vacation. I'm gonna invest money.
Vacation, I go to Portugal.
Yeah, I'm gonna invest money to make money back. Like I want to come back positive. I don't want to come back telling my wife, "Hey, dear, I just put another whatever $5,000 on the credit card because such and such couldn't throw any more money. So and so, and me and Rich split the rest." You know,
exactly.
Not that that's the case, but you know what I mean. So
but you know, that's exactly what it is, though. Is that it's like, you know, I totally understand that. Obviously, you know, you're not going to go out on tour and make boatloads of cash. You might, if you come back, you know, breaking even. That's a great thing. But like again, it's like, why would I pay to go on a tour for 2 weeks in front of 10 people a night when I could just take that money that I spent and go to like the Cayman Islands or Portugal? It's like I literally just rather do that.
Invest it into more content.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Get people talking more.
Because, like, especially, like you had mentioned, you know, these rides, you know, you're in the van. Like, imagine, like, if more bands, like, name a band. Like, if they were on the road, just sitting there in the back, and they went on Twitch for an IRL stream.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. I mean, like, they would just, it's like free money while you're just sitting there.
Exactly. And I like what you said about it's not a vacation. And I think a lot of bands think it is a vacation. And it's like, and I'm not here saying like, you have to be so serious on tour. Like, no, have fun. But the thing is, you should love what you're doing that much that anything you do in that realm should be fun anyways. Like even on social media, shit posting, you know, that's helping your band out. That should be fun to you. And that is working in a sense, right? All these things should add up. And then, at night, have your party, get drunk, and have the weird-ass stories, you know, that hopefully don't get you canceled fucking, you know, later. That's why you got to trust your bands. Members. Yeah.
I don't drink or do any drugs, so I would just I've said that if we go, I'm just gonna sit in the van and just never come out until the next show. But
I do have to divulge some secrecy here. Is that this is Rich's first band in TrueShot, right? So when we first got together, he's like, "Oh, world tour," you know, just you know, I mean, obviously he was joking a little bit, right? But but you know, at first he was like, "Yeah, man, I can't wait to go on tour," and then slowly after you know he and I kind of got together and we started treating it as a business, you know what I mean? We looked at it that way, and this is his new opinion. I say new, but his opinion was quickly changed after we started looking. You know, you got to learn on it, you know. So, but no, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, and that business aspect, it's like people always are like, "Oh, you can't think of it like a business because it's an art," and it's like, you do know some of the most successful actual businesses, like whether it be a fucking restaurant or something, are the ones where the people actually loved their craft, but they also took the business seriously.
You have
and
to.
then everyone's happy, right? It's like, why is it such a almost taboo in metal?
Dude, okay, yes.
Oh, we're gonna go into the hardcore realm, aren't we?
Okay,
Here we go. Here we go.
So, okay. So, okay, so many thoughts. How do I
deep breath, because we talked about this. We were talking about this yesterday.
So, first of all, I just want to say this. So I can think of two bands that one of them gets a little bit more, crap than the other one. But like I Prevail and Wage War, they get a lot of crap, but they're massive. And why? Well, because I would say, obviously, for I Prevail, their marketing is like
top tier.
Like they get down to even like using yellow on posts because they know that yellow is like the color that makes people look at it more than other colors. Like they get really into it. But okay, so
marketing,
this is what I was
psychology.
Say. I find it so like just
frustrating,
bizarre when I see local bands making fun of or like literally like talking crap about these bigger bands. Like, like if you don't like a band, that's fine. But when you're saying like they're a bad band, it's like, bro, you got 40 monthly listeners on Spotify. They got 350,000. Like, I think that is so weird, and I don't know why it is in metal / hardcore where it's like the more successful you are, like the more hated that you are. Like you almost have to be like die with like 50 cents in your pocket, like here's my final money. But
because you lived the life, you sacrificed it all for the metal, dude. That's what. Your health, your wellness, your financial freedom gone. Your metal.
Why is that, Nick? What is it with metal that's like that?
I guess it's part of how it just where it came from, right? Just that was kind of the grind before, like, it's hard to be a metal musician. And when the media age kind of came more about with the harder stuff, it became a little more popular and it was a little easier for do that stuff. And it's, I guess, starting to become a little less taboo. And also, I think a lot of people that became musicians just didn't think business like, because they were just like, you need a label, right? It's like before you couldn't get heard before unless you had a label. But now it's like, oh, I have a new song, DistroKid. But the label's like, but we could take 20% of what you had and upload it to DistroKid for you. And you're like, ooh. Right? It's like, obviously labels do more than that.
Yeah, right.
Same idea of like, now that you have to do it yourself a lot of the time, the money aspect is a little more intertwined, and it's not just the metal bands are all poor as shit and the labels are the ones super rich. It's like, no, because these metal bands are becoming a little self-sufficient and they don't own, like, the labels don't own the entire band and all their money and their mums, you know what I mean? Like, it's actually like they actually have money from what they earn and what they've deserved and done over the years. And I think it's starting to become a little less taboo, but it's still there. And I think because I come from that YouTube background, I'm more used to the business side. You have to have the marketing sense. It's much less just about the music. It's like, I love what I'm doing, and you have to combine the two. Like if you don't, it's tougher. It's not impossible. It's much tougher if you don't combine those two mindsets. Like the marketing, like, hey, I Prevail. When I see their ads, I love it. I'm like, I am so happy I saw this ad because this is what I want to see more of. This top tier fucking marketing right here. And I see it as soon as I see the ad. I catch it. The yellow fucking lights, the box checked out, the title that's kind of like an impromptu ask question that kind of will make you share it with your friends. I get it. And I'm so happy when I see stuff like that. And I want to see bands do it more. But I'm also like, well, fuck it. If they're not going to do it, I'll just do it. And then I'll get the traction instead. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they stay out of that loop, they're just doing a disservice to themselves by thinking that it's just a taboo to make money in the industry. I'm not saying it's easy. Fuck no, it's not easy. Which is why it should be even more, like, congratulated if a band makes money, because it's that much harder to do.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree. So I just wanted to ask you this, because obviously I know that, it's pretty clear like what Termina is, but like say like tomorrow for whatever reason you sat down with Andy and you were like, okay, man, like this is gonna be like a legit band. Like, what would it take for you guys, or just, I guess, speaking through you, but for like other bands, because obviously, like you just touched on, you can do a lot on your own these days. what would it take for a label? Like, what would they have to offer for it to be like, okay, I'm losing this but gaining this, that kind of thing?
Number one, you don't own any of my shit ever. I'm gonna keep my shit till the grave.
That's my caveat right there.
Never. That's number. I don't care what the number is. You don't own my shit is number one. Okay, because you don't need to own my shit to make money off it. It's very simple business. Okay. Number two, not a crazy take, obviously, and you gotta offer some kind of promotion. Literally, all we'd want from a label is we don't even want to be funded by a label. Like, we don't care if a label hands us $5,000 for a music video. We are fucking YouTubers. We can make $10 of a green screen into a content that can make you a bunch of money if you really need to. Okay, we don't need that $5,000 music video. We'd love to have it, but we're not owing you $5,000 for the $5,000 music video. You know what I mean? So all we'd really want is, again, if one of the bigger labels that we really believed in and loved in, it would be fucking, you don't own shit, obviously. You don't fund any of our stuff, but you help us get placements on Spotify. If your YouTube is big, that'll be fine, because again, it's an advantage and a thing that can also be a disadvantage in a way, whereas I use my channel as the label, right? I just, you know, all my viewers are there. It's not like we were like, oh, well, why don't we use Andy's channel? It's like, simply put, it'll get more traction because it's on my channel and I'll promote it faster. That's all, right? And because it's Termina, I actually wouldn't mind it being like on a label's channel. I actually don't mind that at all, because it's not like I super care that it's on my channel. It's me and Andy's thing, right? It's not like, oh, it's not on my channel, I'm fucking pissed. I don't care. It's just for the marketing of it. So that I'd be cool with, put it on their channel, but it's got to actually pay off way more than me putting it on mine. The placements and getting with the blogs, just essentially the entire marketing work. I'll give you a percentage. Simple as that. It's almost like kind of like a licensing somewhat deal. But no fucking ownership. You can fuck off with the ownership of my stuff. I own the things I make. No one else owns that shit. Okay. Other than me and Andy for Termina. Me and Andy own the things Termina make. That is all.
Because I mean, there's a lot of like lower level record labels, and I mean, we've been contacted by like by
quite a few.
I say like record labels very loosely, because they're like Sword, Wind, and Fire record LP. I'm like, who? But when I see those, I'm like, I'll do it on myself. But yeah, no, because I mean, even on when you're not on a label, you can reach out to these other outlets, like you know, like Dreambound is a big one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You could promote your video on there. So yeah, because I think there's like this like construct or paradigm within like metal, where it's like you gotta get a band, you gotta write some demos, send them to a label, and you gotta get signed, and you cannot make it until you get signed. That's it. I mean, you're just useless until you get signed. But yeah, man, I think that's a lot of like really good information that I hope that people someday grasp.
Yes, people, please, whatever you make, regardless of how shit it is, never, ever let somebody own that shit.
Unless
it is yours.
Agreed.
EP. You can go ahead, take it.
Okay, if it's their EP, you can take it. Don't let labels take your shit, because if you actually believe in your band enough, or your grind and your brand in total, you better expect it to get to that big status one day. And guess what? If you don't think it will, then maybe you should double check what you're doing, right? But if you do think you are, then don't you want to own your own creations that got you there in the first place when you do it, that you can do whatever you want with it? No one can say shit about what you do with it. So please think in the long run. I know that it's so easy to just be like, right there's that contract, our way out. So our way out on this, you know, fire and ice label, right? Please, God, be careful with giving the rights away to your shit. Okay. I learned that lesson very quickly and easily, much easier than a lot of other bands had to deal with that shit. And trust me, just be careful with who you give ownership to your stuff.
Do you want to delve into that a little bit, or is that
sure? We are Triumphant owns Rockstar. Me and Andy's cover of Rockstar, and the owner, Greg, you know, he's treated me with respect. So I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. He's always treated me with respect, but he's a business guy, right? And Andy and I were a little naive a few years ago and signed not the most favorable contract for that one song. And we got benefits from it, right? Like we actually weren't going to put it on Spotify otherwise. Maybe we probably would have later when we realized how popular it got on YouTube. So that helped us get some traction to our own Spotify, sure. The monetary value though, we got a little fucked. Especially because I know the background of like what the actual labels and stuff actually offer, and you kind of think it's like this crazy big network of like, oh, we're getting it on everything, and then you realize, oh wait, I know exactly what they're doing. I can actually do it myself, right?
Right.
So people don't realize.
Yeah, so I learned it that way. And again, no hate on Greg. He was always nice to me. He was funny dude. I actually like just hanging out with him, not the business side of him.
Right.
The business side, that's where we butt heads a little bit, but just the person side is pretty chill. But yeah, that was the one mistake I made, and Andy too, and we knew it, but we learned right from that. We're like, holy fuck, we gave rights away to this huge ass cover that actually earns dumb money on Spotify, and we didn't even know.
I saw that you guys have like over 2 million streams on
That's
that.
insane.
Yeah. So we learned that quick and easy. We're very lucky compared to, again, a bunch of other bands that have to. Their whole catalog is fucked, and it's like, that's it. It's sad, man.
Adam,
that happened to the Browning.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
First two albums, they're you can't even buy them anymore. I don't think.
I know. I'm good buddies with Brian, man. It was so sad when he told me that. I was like, wow, what? First of all, what a dick of a label to just do that. But it happens, man.
It does.
It's the business. And that's why that also gives the business side a bad fucking name, because there's some people that are just greedy as shit, and that's the industry. Buyer beware. It's not the label's fault that you signed a shitty contract.
That's exactly right.
If you sign, So, but Adam, do you think should I bring up anything involving, should I bring up something involving our Spotify? Should I bring that up? Because it has a lot.
You know what? Can I say something on it? I'll be really generic.
I'll say it to you off. I'll say it to you off air. I'll say it to you off.
Yeah, we'll talk. But just be careful for the listeners out there, and I'm sure Nick can absolutely jump on this train. Don't pay for Spotify placements without knowing where they're going. Don't trust anybody.
That's true.
And I don't care who who people that you. I mean, unless you really trust the person you're working with. If you ask the questions, where are these streams coming from? Where are they? How are they getting? How are these playlists getting curated? And you're asking the right questions. You're not getting the answers you need. Something's wrong.
Yes.
Something's wrong.
I'll tell you about that off air though.
Yeah,
Nick,
but
because I got a good story for you.
I know we're coming up on time. I do have a gear question that I've had triggered for a while, and it's hard to interject with Rich because he just gets so damn excited, which I love about him.
I got all day, dude. I'm chill as fuck.
I have some more questions, so we'll just
you can end it, right? So I want to know. So I know you play a whole bunch of different gear, and what's like your top 3 pieces of gear that you feel just kind of like give you your sound?
Axe Effects.
Okay.
Done.
That's it? Oh, okay.
Axe Effects. I don't like. I kind of have a lot of gear, and I kind of don't. Like I've used. Oh no, he has an Axe Effects. I'm so minimalistic. Like I've used my Axe Effects, my Schecter before I got sponsored. I don't love you, Ernie Ball. Thank you for sponsoring. Your meme guy. I love you. I used my Schecters for like 8 years because I literally just didn't buy another guitar, and I used my Axe Effects for quite a bit, and Cubase, and that's it. Like that's still pretty much my setup now. I just have Ernie Balls and like shit that people give me because I'm a YouTuber for some reason. But like it's still the same thing, man. It's just Axe Effects and like
that's cool. So do you do any big plugins you like to use in Cubase? I mean,
the Fab Filter stuff's always great.
Okay.
I love obviously the Q is great. In terms of like, I like to mess with some Fab Filter stuff, the compressor, the Q, as well as a lot of Joey Sturgis stuff. He always has some great, like gain reduction is, a classic.
Yep.
His DF Excite, I think, is really good for adding a bit of like a distortion little thing. It's usually a drum thing. It's an exciter, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not the best with I'm not super production-y.
Me neither. Minimalist for me.
Yeah, I was one of those gen kids, that like listen to Periphery and is like, oh, I'm gonna do all this shit myself now. I mean, it got me here, so no complaints. But yeah, that's mainly the stuff, and like I keep it super fucking simple, man. I'm just like EQ compression, and like I don't know. like I don't even like saturation maybe. Like I don't know what half of the plugins that exist really do.
You
like,
and me
that
both.
pro
Okay.
do. I just
I don't
use
feel so
EQ
bad
comp.
now.
Yeah, and that's kind of it, and I'm just cool with that. And I do little things here and there, and I'm like, I can kind of hear that, but that's really all I fuck with is EQ
Yep.
and comp and like parallels and group tracks. That's my extent of knowledge, man. I gotta get better at it though, because we are trying to make Termina not sound, like we're trying to make it sound professional.
I
enough.
thought it sounded friggin' awesome, man. That's
thank
why
you.
I was asking about your, what are your must-haves to give you your sound? Because, for me personally, I'm a bit, I use Helix, Line 6 Helix. I have a rack and a floor. But I also use, we were talking about Periphery, but I use Misha's, it's right here. The hell is it called?
Toneforge?
He's not even
the Horizon
Periphery fan. Can you believe it?
Horizon Devices, right?
Yeah, the Nano Attack. I have the Nano Attack, and I also have the other one there, the one with it has drive on. I don't know why I can't think what the hell it's called. The little overdrive pedals. I'm just fucking sitting right here. Anyways, it's the Nano Attack.
Yeah, I know.
Geez, man, I call it total brain fart, and I'm freaking looking at it. But he's got some good stuff. His Horizon Device pedals are really good, and I love it because it gives it like such a sick, clean boost. That with like a clean and just a tiny bit of gain, and you get that really cool, genty, clean, twang to it. It's just it's cool.
I've had one of those, and they're great. And like when it does come to gear, like again, I consider myself a minimalist, the guy who has a fucking Axe Effects and Ernie Ball says, you know what I mean? But like in terms of like variety of gear, because I don't like having too many options, because it makes me feel a little uncomfortable when I'm not utilizing all the things I own, which is also why I never really had a lot of guitars until like people gave me guitars, right?
Right.
I have that weird feeling of like, that's sitting right there and that is not being used, and it makes me feel anxious in some fucking weird way. Same thing with like plugins and stuff. So that's why I'm always like, very simple. I actually use this. That's my shit. Done. But yeah, when it comes to guitar tones and that, like Axe Effects, and then Get Good Drums from drums from Get Good Drums, the company I use their stuff, the Matt Halpern pack. And bass, I use a Gin bass or Euro bass, which is the dude who made that masters like all the modern metalcore, like Northlane and like Periphery. Like he's the masterer of all that stuff, and he's really nice. That's all I use, and I'm sure I'll eventually want to expand. But it makes me always like anxious because like fuck new things that I have to care about and learn. Like, do I even have time to learn this stuff?
That's
if not,
the question.
Sitting there. So yeah, that's kind of my setup though. It's been like that for quite some time. That's it.
Precision Drive. That's what it's called.
Yes. Yeah. I have one in my closet. It's a great pedal.
Yeah.
It's a great pedal.
Yeah.
So I know that we probably should have talked about this. What is it, like 2 hours ago? But but because I know how obviously Termina kind of came to be from listening to other podcasts. But just for anybody listening, I guess you can give the abridged version if you don't want to go into full detail. But how did Termina come together? Because obviously Andy is like a monster vocalist. I said to Adam, he looks like a guy who could play like a jock on 13 Reasons Why. So I'm just like, this dude doing that is just like you look at it and you're like, it's like when I first saw Phil Bozeman for the first time. I'm like, how is that happening? But so yeah, give us a little bit of a background of how Termina came together.
Yeah, so the pre-Termina era, it all started with Ezekiel Pearson, X Down and Dirty. He left because there was a bunch of bullshit in that band. Yeah. He hit me up. He's like, hey, dude, you want to start a project? And I was like, fuck, dude, that dude's so talented. I wasn't really looking for a project at that time, but he's so talented. I really wanted to work with him. And I was like, you know what? Like, I could do that down and dirty kind of thing, but like release songs, like actually get the songs out and none of that bullshit and do it right. Cause that's such a good niche in the market that people just apparently want. And that's what I was like, all right, let's do that. Like, but with a little bit of a twist, make it a little more underlying technical abilities. But the whole point is instrumentally, it's a setup for the vocalist to do his thing and dominate the catchy choruses, the heavy as fuck breakdowns though. And the underlying technical ability with the ambience and the background guitar work. That's where I want to put my expertise in. It was really me writing. So we did that. I wrote a few demos. Ezekiel was busy with tattooing, and that's just kind of where his life more focused. So he ended up doing that. I was like, well, fuck, I have a lot of demos. What do I do with them? And I was like, well, if I started this band today, who would I asked to be in a band with? 2 seconds, I said Andy, obviously. Yeah. Right. And at that point, I've known Andy for like 3 years, I think. And he's just a gem. He's one of my like really close fucking friends. And he's so talented. It's disgusting. It's
so
like,
good.
why?
So
like, why
good.
so much talents in this one person. Like, that's unfair, right? And I know that, you know, even myself, like, I like listening to heavy as fuck, like the most heavy shit you can listen to. But I also like, you know, like the more friendly consumer stuff. And I was like, he can do that ace. He has the clean singing of an angel, and literally sounds like a devil when he's screaming. Like, the fucking noises he can make is disgusting, right? So I hit him up, and he's like, within 2 seconds of me sending him the demos, he's like, yeah. I was like, dude, you're in like 70 bands. He's like, yeah. So we started that, and we started working together really closely. First song we recorded together was Lucid, which was great. And we still had a few of the other demos, which I still actually don't know how many of those demos we'll use, the old ones that we had. And we did Lucid, and it was a little weird because, again, I've written with Andy, like we did a Rockstar. We've done covers together, but it's like, it wasn't really yet like Termina, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't get what our styles together really make if we're trying to make something. So Lucid was the first experiment, and I wrote that instrumental. I sent it to him, and he brought me those vocals, and I heard that fucking chorus in that song.
Oh,
and I was done. I heard that chorus, and I was like, Andy, this is a bomb. Like, this is a dime right here. And then the part that comes after that, heavy, low, like North Laney scream, and I was like, yes. I was like, this is perfect. I get it. I instantly kind of had a bit of that vision for the rest of what to write for him. Like, to set him up. That's my whole goal, is to instrumentally set up my dude to just show off and be Andy, because he's so fucking good. And all his projects, I feel like, bring out parts of the best to him. You know, like, a lot of his rock stuff is just his clean stuff. He obviously doesn't scream in that. And even Monuments, I think that's a new one, which is going to start to bring out a bit more of both.
Yeah.
But still, even Monuments has had their sound already that I'm sure Andy has to somewhat appease, right? With a specific type of scream, not as much of like the crazy variety of like deathcore vocals at some points and like this angelic singing, right? Even though I'm sure there's going to be tons of a good chunk of that, it still has to be Monuments. Whereas this, I was like, I want you to do Andy. Anything you can do. Do not give a fuck about what type of style it is, what genre. I want you. Yeah. If you have a deathcore breakdown that is the most filthy thing you ever heard, we'll put that with a catchy chorus. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Because I know you can do both. And that is really the start of us experimenting. And just a side note, the album is heavy as fuck. But yeah, so we did Lucid. And then we were like, what's the next song? Because that actually did really well. And we were like, it was the second song I sent him. It was the Abyss. And he brought me back the vocals, and same feeling. It's always like I'm in my bed and he like sends them to me in the middle of the night and I'm sleeping and I wake up and I'm like, oh, I got a message from Andy. Let me try. So I put on my fucking phone, you know, too lazy to even go to my monitors to hear the beauty this was just sent to me. And I was like, I listened to that fucking chorus and I was like, got me again, dude. Like, what the fuck? This chorus is not. It's just catchy. It has everything. Yeah. And then that song also, again, it was his twist. All these unique, dark. It's almost like a
sick song.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah.
We did a reaction for it.
Oh yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah, I'm
the
excited
Abyss.
to check that out. But
I don't want to say too much about it because I want you to see the reaction.
Okay. What I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna stream on Twitch, watching anyone who reacts in the covers. I want to make it like a fun event of checking all that.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I love watching that stuff. Even people that don't like it, I love watching it just to see the kind of their faces and their reactions to certain points. But yeah, that song just had like such a weird. Like I wrote it almost as like an architectsy darker version.
That's the one
with like a groove to it, kind of like a mix of the periphery side in some parts, but also a really catchy chorus, like just more energetic, epic song. And then what he sent me back, those like haunting vocals on like some of those parts mixed in with the heavies. I was like, this is something to me that was it was special and kind of refreshing, even though, again, I gave him almost like a generic-ish instrumental. Like, it wasn't anything super crazy, but then the vocals he threw on it, I was like, holy fuck, this next level bit.
It definitely gave me some Architects like Veil of Maya vibes. That's exactly what I got. But all right, man. Wow, that was awesome. I mean, there's so much good knowledge in there, and I hope people really take the time to watch this because I mean, you had a lot of really good insights, and
thank you.
I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, man.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out, man. That was cool. That was cool.
Thanks for being like, hell yeah, not telling me to fuck off. I love when that happens, dude. Yeah. Dude, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's a pleasure hanging and talking, man.
Yeah, man. So go ahead, plug away. I know you got 54 things going on, but go ahead, man. Whatever way you want to do it.
Floor is yours.
Honestly, man, I'm always doing my shit on YouTube. If you see my face around, watch a video. You'll hate it or love it, whatever. Just come hang out. And honestly, I'm so excited. I've never been more proud of a project than New Termina. So if you want to watch anything, no matter how much you hate me or you think my face is dumb as fuck for my videos, I agree with you. No matter what, come check out that New Termina track, because that is something that is so special to me and Andy, and I think it's going to be a fucking banger. And I'm so excited. I can't wait till Thursday. I'm actually dumb excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is a really good track. I'll just tell people that.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, all right, man. Well, yeah, I'll tell you the story off air. But anyways, guys, Nik Nocturnal, thank you so much, man.
Thank you very much.
We'll see everybody in the next episode of the TrueShot guest spot. Make sure you check out The Abyss when it comes out on Thursday. It'll come out the same day as this podcast and our reaction. So make sure you check out Termina. If you haven't checked out any Termina, Lucid is
burner.
Like,
that's a burner. Make sure every single flame in the house is out, because it is fucking fire.
You got candles going?
You got candles, blow them out, because that shit is going to explode.
People are going to listen to the song now and be like, what the fuck is this?
No, dude. If anybody listens to that song and it doesn't blow their friggin' mind, they're fucking dumb.
So thank you guys.
I mean, they have no musical taste whatsoever. I'll stand by it.
But anyways, guys,
you'll get that when you hear my reaction to The Abyss. You'll understand why I just said that. There's a reason.
Cool.
So now they gotta listen to both songs.
Anyway, that was a really excellent professional outro. But anyway, Nick, we hope that once you reach 100 episodes, we have you back on or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But it was awesome talking to you, man, and thanks so much.
Yeah.
Anytime. Have a good one.
Man. Thanks.
Take care. What's up, guys? Richard from TrueShot here again. And hey, if you made it to this point in the podcast, thank you so much. We know that was a long one, but we thought that you would really enjoy that. And also, if you did enjoy that, please make sure before you head out of YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you hit the like button, you hit subscribe, you turn the notification bell so you get notified when I release new videos on the channel. But also, if you're on Spotify, make sure you follow the podcast. And also, if you're on Apple Podcasts, listen to this, make sure you leave a review. It really helps us out a lot. Until the next episode, everybody, we'll see you later. Take care. Peace.
Know that you'll stay.